get those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, I wanna spend some time with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna unplug the yellow wires there, so this is gonna be a repair on our washing machine dryer combo in our fifth wheel. It's a Bighorn fifth wheel. And this washing machine is a Splendide 2100. Green. Let's see, and it's going closest to the motor on that little raised area. And then I'm gonna unplug. Oh, I'm not getting that in there, that yellow one. And I'm gonna unplug that white multi-pin strip there. It's got a little locking tab on the side right there. Squeeze that and pull it off. The other one's just gonna pull straight off with a pair of needle nose. Okay guys, well, I'm gonna make a video of this because I just found out after searching the web, nobody else has made a video on this. So this is what I got. It's this RV washer dryer combo, Splendid, I think, something like that. It's a French guy made it, and I'm already kind of in the middle of it. I've just started doing troubleshooting on it, so I've already got the back off, which is, you know, just a series of little screws around it, and you take the back off and you access everything from back here. But so I didn't catch it at the very beginning, but let me tell you what's happening. Oh, there's a tag. Right? There's the name of this guy right there. Splendide. Okay, back to the story. So, my wife was having trouble. The machine was skipping the wash cycle. And it was flashing a code, 2 flashes, take a break, 2 flashes, take a break, just like that. And that code is F2, failure 2, I guess, F02. And there's a few things it can be. It can be that the motor's jammed. The motor won't turn. Well, this one turns. Thing it can be is the wire on the motor came loose, because this thing shakes like you wouldn't believe. And the wire's not off. Next thing it can be is a tachometer sensor is gone bad, and in that case I think you're gonna have to I'll have to replace the whole motor. The other thing that I'm going after right now is the bushings award, and these bushings are replaceable, but you know, it's tight and hard to get to, and there's no videos on it. So I'm gonna go after, and these bushings, I'm gonna test the tachometer wire, and I'm gonna film it all just for you guys. Another issue though, it's gonna take me a couple of weeks because this thing went down at a bad time, of course. I'm about to have bilateral carpal tunnel release. So I'm not going to be able to work on this very much for a couple of weeks till I get, you know, recovered from it. But that's where we are, and I know somebody's going to find some value in this video, because I sure wish I could find one. So stay tuned and we'll get to it, and you'll see how I go about stumbling through repair work where I don't know anything about. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, with those out, that's what it looks like. Man, this is, I tell you what I'm having a problem with, is this is so tight. That is the little area on the back that you can work on, and that's in the closet. And look how close the bed is. We got, 9 inches of space there. Maybe 3 feet of space, between the back of the bed and the cabinet. A couple of feet that way. Now I'm 6'7". I'm not overly heavy. I'm kind of slender, but still, that is a tight area to work. Now, if I was 18 and limber, it wouldn't be that bad, but I've been on this world for over 70 years, and those tight places get even tighter. Yeah, okay. Next thing I'm going to do is, I've got two 13 millimeters on this bracket. I'm going to remove those. Now the instructions I see printed say that there's also one in the front that you can reach from the back, but my exploration hadn't found anything. So once I get those loose, I'm going to see if anything else is holding it. I'm also going to take the belt off here. I'm just going to work it off. I'm not going to loosen anything to get it off. Okay, so motor's out. I apologize for not filming it as I brought it out, but there's just no room to set up a camera and film it, especially by myself. So what it is the 2 bolts on this end. They're 13 millimeters, one right there, one right there. You take those out, and after unplugging everything, the wires, and it slides right out. Let's see if I can get yeah, see that rusty looking thing? That's about a 3/4 inch dowel, and it just fits in a hole on the motor bracket. So it's just floating there. You take those bolts out and slide it back, and out she comes. Plenty of room. Just doesn't look like it. Okay, so here she is out of the machine. See, these are the holes that pin I showed you is sliding on. So those just are just floating on those big pins, and these have those 13 millimeter bolts that hold the whole thing together. Next is, here's my brushes, carbon brushes, and that's what I'm wanting to go after. I need to make sure they're at least a 1/2 inch long, and you can see them riding on that commutator right in there. But look at that sucker. Can you see? Let's see. I got you upside down in here. Here we go. That thing is black. You see the ends are a little bit coppery. That should be shiny copper. And so I'll clean those up, and I'll measure the brushes, I mean. Focus. I'm just going to take out the Phillips heads, flip the thing over, and see if I can measure them to be at least a 1/2 inch long. Now, I know there's a spring involved in there, so got to be careful. Okay, so I'm going to take these Phillips head screws. They're pretty small. Remove them. Got them broke loose. Everything on here is, really tight because that thing shakes like heck. And I just don't want to drop these down in the motor. So I'm going to get them loose and flip it on its edge so that they don't naturally want to fall. So you might not see that well. Yikes. I just don't want those things to fall down. Looks like the spring isn't in danger for coming out just yet. But man, the carbon buildup is on everything. Look at this. Okay. And this is, I mean, it's worn. You see that half moon contour? I don't think that's supposed to be like that. All the brushes I've ever seen had a flat square tip. So I think these are wore out before I even measure them. But I'll go ahead and measure them and I'll get back with you. Okay, so this appears to be a solid unit. I think it would have to break plastic to get into it. So I'm thinking the measurement they're talking about is from this body to the surface, and that is it's less than a 1/4 inch. It's certainly not a 1/2 inch, and I think that's our problem. We're gonna put new ones on there and see if that fixes it. Okay, so here's that motor out, and once again, these are the slides that plug into these big dowels that mount this motor. And of course, on the back side, there's these 2 bolts that come in from here, 13 millimeter, as we've said. Now, this is what I was going after. These brushes, I keep calling them bushings. Stuck on that for some reason. That's what I'm after. And let me show you. This is one side, and this is the other. A little bit of difference there, I would say, right? Let's get some light on you here. That's the way it should look, right like that. This one is good. That's in good shape. This one, it's wore completely out. There's no more of the material that makes this booger run. And probably can't see it, and I've cleaned a lot of it off just by handling it. The powder is everywhere, and that's the carbon where this thing wore down. Now, I said earlier that the armature was dirty. The commutators here. Focus. I went ahead and cleaned them up, and that's the way they should be, nice and shiny. And each one of these sections go to a different part of this winding in here, that copper wire. And what it's doing is it's causing magnetic fields to like pulse. And like a magnet pulls it a little ways. Flip you around. There I am. So it's like the magnet pulls the armature a little bit, and then another magnet switches on and grabs it and pulls it a little more, and it does that all the way around in a circle, and the motor goes faster, and that's how it's working. So without the I keep wanting to say bushing, without the brush running on this commutator here, it doesn't power the magnets, so it's not going to run. So I haven't checked the wire for the tachometer, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. I might do it anyway, but that's obviously not going to run when it's wore down that low. So that's our problem. I'm 98% sure. I went ahead and ordered some new ones, and my goodness, these are cheap normally. These are strange times, and this particular thing coming from the manufacturer is like $56 a piece. So I think, well, it's my total bill's $116 with shipping and tax. I'm telling them straight bananas here, boo. Okay, we'll get you up here. Okay, and also I can just tell you, these two screws are what mounts it through those two holes. So this thing just sits right in there. And this is supposed to rub against that copper. I guess I should, take it for granted that you understand that electromagnetism. When you run electricity through a coil of wire, it becomes a magnet. It has a magnetic field, and that's an electromagnet, and that's what we're dealing with. This wire goes into there and make contact with each one of those. Each one of those, as it turns, it's going to switch on and off a magnet. So, it's not hard to understand how these things work. Of course, there's a lot more details to it, but this is old school type motor where that actually happens. Otherwise, you can't have wires. You can't have wires solidly connected to each one of those magnets in there. The wires would keep the thing from turning. So that's a creative way to do it. They thought about it, I don't know, 150 years ago, until Tesla came up with induction. But a lot of motors run on induction where you don't have to have. You just work with the field of energy and not with the actual contact with it. So even old technology, survives. Here's a good example, I guess, of the carbon that's accumulated. This stuff's everywhere. That's all my brush material. But it's kind of like brake shoes on a car or something. They're meant to wear. It's a known thing. And luckily these Italian engineers made it easy to change. Normally these things are a booger to change in most motors. You have to pull the armature out, the springs and the carbon go popping out everywhere, and you got to really hold your tongue right and do all kinds of jumping through loops to get the thing back together. But this, since it's all engineered into this housing, easy peasy. Even I can do it. Okay, so here are the new brushes, and I went ahead and stuck one on. It's just, you just plug the wire into it and two screws right there. But I wanted to point something out. This is the one that still looks good. But right here on the tip, see that little piece of plastic? Right there. Let's see. There's a little piece of plastic right in there. That is, let me get a new one out here. Okay, so the new one, the new one has this piece of plastic right there, and it's holding this plunger in. It's holding that piece of carbon in, and it's broke off of the old one. And you can see when I put the new one in, I've still got it on there. Still got it on there. You can't really quite see, can you? It's right there. When I get them both on, I'll just break that piece of plastic off, and it will release. It will release this thing, so it will spring in against the commutator. That's the only thing I wanted to point out. That little piece of plastic, you have to break that off. Okay, let's see here. So, here is the piece of plastic. Let's see. Focus, yeah. See, that's the piece of plastic right there. I'm just going to take these needle nose and wiggle it and break it off. I don't know if I can do it and film it. Try to see. Look around on the other side of the camera here. I'm just going to wiggle it and break it off there. Okay, so it just completed a full cycle, so that fixed it. I didn't film putting the motor back on because it's really, straightforward. It's just the you stick the opening onto the pin, and you put the two bolts back in, plug the wires in, and stick the belt on, and you're done. The belt, there's nothing to loosen or anything. You just roll the belt on, kind of like doing a inner tube on a bicycle or something, or your bicycle chain, however you can relate to that. But yeah, that brush was the only problem, and it's running fine now. So I hope that helps somebody.